I don't know, Toronto low qual. Don't you ever just kind of feel bad about it?
Feel bad about what?
Shipping these guys off to terrible organizations. I mean, how am I supposed to look a player in the eye and say, hey, you're going to Arizona and sleep at night?
You should try to do what I do.
Do what you do?
You just got to create an environment that's so toxic that when you tell them that they're being traded, they thank you.
Jesus. And your fans are okay with that?
The fans? Well, they were the ones who started this whole thing. Shoot, sometimes they do it without us even asking.
You were the wrong person to ask.
Trust me. When they get to Arizona, they're going to thank their lucky stars that they're not in Toronto anymore.
Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team. That is another dub again. Nailed it. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I feel like I lied to you in this. I feel like I lied to you guys way too much. Because last video, I said, you know what? If they drop one of these two games against Chicago, obviously that coming up on Tuesday, or Arizona, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. Weird results are happening right now. We're going to talk more about that. But by the time the start of the third period hit, I was full on, if we lose this game, I'm going to be pissed. I was going to be downright angry. But we didn't. And that coin flip of a goal at the end just means I get to be happy. That's the way hockey works, right? One bounce. Better team. We won. All that matters to me, we got the 2 points. Don't give a shit. One bounce changes that. One. And it almost did against us. About 2 seconds left of the game. But we're not going to get into that yet. The Coyotes are terrible. They're really bad. We all know this. And I'm not insulting the Coyotes by saying that because they fucking try to be. Not the players, of course. So maybe I am insulting some people. But the management and the players are aware of this, have pretty much openly said we're tanking. Not in any sort of way you could prove it, but they've done everything to get worse this season. And they're after the deadline, this could get uglier. But going into the deadline, they have won, before this game, they had won 4 in a row. Against some decent teams in there, too. I don't know if I listed the teams off. I didn't. But I know the Avs were one of them. Detroit, which is feisty. I can't remember the other two. Doesn't matter. Beat some decent teams. I think the Maple Leafs were one. They were one. 24 goals in 4 games. On the season, I think they have 145 goals before this one. So they scored about 1/6 of their season total in about 1/15 of their season. 1/6 of their season total of goals for is in the last 4 games, and they're still 30th. They scored 24 in 4 games. They're still 30th in the league in goals for. This team is bad. They have terrible special teams. But what kind of offense are we going to see tonight? A wide open one, apparently. That team was schmoovin'. Not a boring game to watch by any means. I just thought we were going to rack up a lot more goals. Nick Richie, what? Nick Richie makes his almost triumphant return to the Garden. He's a Muppet. I'm not happy with him. I don't like him. I'm just going to say that now. I don't like Nick Richie. Hated it when he was here. See what I mean? I mentioned Nick Richie and the dogs go nuts. That's all it takes in this household. On our end, Swayman gets a start. Grizz is back. He's going to slot in for a Sean. The lines are not going to change otherwise. But there's a couple names we're looking at in this game. Phil Kessel being one. He has had a rough season as far as goal scoring goes, but he's been dishing those passes pretty well. He's still playing a pretty solid game offensively. You know, Phil's not the best defensive winger in the league, but hey, that's okay. Schmaltz, who's been on a tear lately, 11 points in the last, 22 points in the last 11 games. Not too shabby. He might be on the block, not really sure there. And then we have, of course, Chychrun. Chychrun is maybe no longer an option. We're going to talk about this right now. Chychrun was the big fish for this deadline. He goes down into the boards a little awkwardly, takes a hit from foreboard, doesn't return. He played maybe 6 minutes. I believe they're listing it as a lower body injury. Not sure what's going on there. If it's a long-term injury, it's unlikely he gets moved. Especially, say it ends the season, which is the worst-case scenario. Obviously not wishing that on the guy. Like, there's total just what-ifs. There's a lot of teams that suddenly feel the pressure of, hey, that was a guy we were really going for. We saw in the offseason what defensemen were going for, which was ridiculous money. There's a lot of contract money given out that was higher than expected. People are going to want to give up real assets now. Teams fall into this thing where they go, hey, my number one option is gone. This is what I was going to give up for my number one option. Might as well give it to this other guy for my new number one option. When this guy is reasonably worse than Chychrun. It should worry everyone, because when a major piece gets moved off the table, potentially like that, overpayments become much more possible. I was never all in on us being able to get Chychrun. I don't think I was willing to give up what it would have taken. We're talking O'Lory, Elisel, another first on top of that. Like, there was probably a large bounty coming their way. I wasn't sold on doing that. Was I completely out on it? No, but we'll get more into that in the next video. This is the biggest story of the game, is Chychrun's health, by far. Quick reminder before we really get started. I know we're like 5 or 6 minutes into this video. It's fine. Trade deadline video is happening tomorrow. There's a ton of... I'm doing a lot of screen time work. I'm going to be doing a lot of recording. I don't know if it gets released until later Sunday or maybe Monday night. It just depends on what I'm able to get done. We have more contractors coming into the house for more stuff, so bear with me on that. But it is happening over the next 48 hours, so if there's anything else you guys wanted to ask, please let me know. We're going to split that video into 3 parts. There's going to be our top assets. There's going to be our top targets. And then there's going to be your questions answered. So that's what I'm aiming to do with it. It'll probably be one big video, but I'm going to use the time frame thing so you know where everything is. That way, if you get bored with one section, you can bounce around as you need to be, as it needs to be. I don't want to release 3 separate videos for it. You get it. Puck drops and 2:30 in. I'm a little nervous. I swear I went into this game thinking I wasn't going to care. I didn't care the result of this game. Crazy, weird trap game. There's no way that we're guaranteed to win here. It's probably likely that we actually struggle a little bit. 2:30 in, Arizona is actually looking really good. They have multiple real scoring chances right away, and Swayman looks sharp to start the game. Our defense looks a little loosey-goosey, but they are blocking a lot of shots. I'm feeling a little bit tense. And then the coil line, the sequence line, officially that's what I'm calling it, right? I feel like some people have started, 2 things have been catching on with that. The sequence line and the Oceans line, like Oceans 11, 12, 13. I like the sequence line way more. Although the George Clooney, Charlie Coyle comparison is fun for me, I like the sequence line a lot more. Sequence line goes to work. Pin the Coyotes into their zone, get some nice pressure, some movement, but it looks like it's going to get brought back out. It looks like they've lost the puck. They go for a change. But Smith straggles just a little bit, and he's on the left corner up by the blue line, and he has a nice keep in and just handles his way into a danger area in the slot. Puck gets bounced away from him. It's madness because Foligno and Nosek are creating a ruckus just around the entire area. Eventually, Nosek is able to settle. He gets a shot off from the slot. Smith had continued his path down next to the goalie. Rebound comes right to him. He buries it. Easy goal for Smith, but he also did all the gritty work to get there in the first place. Foligno played a huge part because all he was doing was tying people up, and that should not go underrated. So good job by him. Foligno's been a lot better. Do I want the 4th line to have more of an identity? Absolutely. This was actually a pretty good game for them. But Foligno does deserve more and more praise as these past couple weeks have been going on. Nosek, I liked what he was doing here too. I know we've been a little low on Nosek lately. I've been surprised by that. I'm a big Nosek fan. I haven't loved everything he's been doing, but this was a good play by him. So Smith, still part of that sequence line, even though he's the only third of the line out there right now. He's going to get the goal. and he's going to have a great game. About a minute later, fast break by Pasta. He gets hooked. We're going to go to the power play. There's a really scary moment on this power play. Swayman makes a save. It gets tossed in on him, and he basically gloves it, puts it down, and passes it 8 feet out to a Yotes defender, and he has to make a big save right after that. It was the weirdest play. Not a good play, but we makes a save. We're not going to have a great power play on this. We give up 2 scoring chances. We have a few ourselves, though. This game is wide open. About 13-15 left. We are going to go a delay of game penalty on Bergeron. Bergier's a tough guy to miss for a penalty kill, but we kill it because the Yotes special teams is terrible, just awful. 9-11 left in the period. Smitty's going to go on Hattie watch again. Oh, he's been on such a tear. But it all starts with Coyle in the defensive zone, who pokes the puck away into the neutral zone. Freddie takes a body, is able to get the puck back to Coyle. Coyle is going to take that blue line. Freddie is going to cycle back down towards the net. Smith is going to be your trailer. Coyle, as soon as he takes that blue line, draws 3 defenders and shifts his body toward the wall. This is a clever play for 2 reasons. One, it's dangerous for him because he's removed a large amount of his space, meaning the defenders are going to collapse, but he had a plan for it. He draws those men in, whips his body around, flings it to Smith, who's trailing. Smith is going to take a shot from the high slot. Freddie, who's taking a body in front of the net, blocks it with his foot, comes right back to Smith. Smith then has a goalie who is committed to the first shot. Lot of space to shoot around him, and he does just that. 2-0! 10-15, 10-30 into the game. I feel pretty good about it because it's a wide open game. I feel like we're going to score quite a few more before this one's over. Was I wrong? Oh, yeah, absolutely. But we scored enough. We scored enough, and I felt good at this point. I really did. 8:20 left. Only reason I'm bringing this up is because what Brick said. Nick Richie runs McAvoy into the boards after a whistle, right? Nothing tenacious, nothing crazy. It's just kind of a hockey play, right? They're talking about maybe a penalty, maybe not. No penalty was called. I didn't think it was enough to give him a penalty. But then Brick starts talking about how we saw that toughness when he was in Boston. Fucking did we? Did we, Brick? Did we see that when he was in Boston? Because you know what? I didn't see shit from Richie when he was in Boston. When he was in Boston, I am on record a full year of videos of being like, hey, Nick Richie, what the hell? I made 1,000 jokes about him. He was our meme guy, absolutely. But nobody liked having him here. When we didn't re-sign him, we cheered. So glad he's not on our team anymore. He's even more unlikable now that he's on other teams. I asked for this by saying all this out loud during the game because of what happens later. But screw that guy. The second period had 2 big moments. 5:30 in. Arizona's being feisty. They're playing well. 4-on-3 because Coyle gets caught high going for an interception. Sway has to make a big save, and he does. Cross slot, excellent save. Freddie gets called for a tripping on this play. Doesn't matter. We kill the penalty because the Yotes power play is terrible. Less than 1 second left in the period. At least it wasn't the third period, right? That's improvement, and I'll take it. They enter our zone with 35 seconds left. We're up 2-0. 35 seconds left of the period. And they don't leave it. Carlo fails a clear, and I'm not just shitting on Carlo, but he did fail a clear. He basically got possession of the puck, but was too slow to get away from his guy, and then ended up just pushing it back around, and it just didn't do anything. We never even got a chance at a clear because of it. Bummer. But let's be real here. I saw Pasta and Howla dive to take shots, to get blocked shots. Puck kept getting moved around. And then it gets to Keller. It's a cross slot. Keller is on that right dot. And he smokes this. This was a hell of a shot. Had Swayman made this save, I would have been ringing bells. Far side posting in. Brilliant shot. 0.6 seconds left in the clock. Come on. That's just, what are you going to do? Hell of a shot. Hell of a play. You got to live with those. If that happened with 9 minutes into the period, you would have been like, oh, wow, that sucks. Wish we got that clear, but whatever. But just because of when it happened, it felt like the biggest deal. If you delay that by a second, it's still 2-0. That's not the stuff I'm worried about right now. We're going to get to the third period. We're about worry about something else, but that's not what I'm worried about right now. Hell of a shot by Keller. And we start the third with such a bad sequence. And not even bad. It was good for us. We're a minute 30 in, and I started typing for a goal. I type up little notes as the game goes on. And Marchand just takes a shot from the slot, gets his own rebound, goes around Vejmelka, and has a wide open net. And I mean wide open net. I mean literally no one between him and the net. And then Moser gets his stick in front, just barely scrapes his stick across to make the puck go out and over. Marchand is snake bitten. How weird is that to say? This is a good place to say this as well. A lot of you have brought up that Marchand doesn't look right. I agree. He is still, him not looking right is still a top-line guy, which is crazy. I do think he's still dealing with something with the shoulder. I hope that resolves itself. He doesn't look 100%. This guy's still a game changer. Every team is dealing with stuff like this. This will not be the excuse we get to use going forward. He doesn't look right. I agree with that. We still got time, hoping we can shake some stuff. If I'm the coaching staff and this is something where he needs some rest, not some like, hey, I'm going to need surgery in the offseason, but we're going to plow through. But hey, if I could get 2 weeks rest, like this will resolve itself. I would do it now. We are so far into a playoff position. I don't care about catching the Leafs. I would absolutely do it now. But that's a whole different discussion. But hey, I got distracted because on the ensuing play the other way, transition by the Yotes, they get into the zone. It's a shot from the right point, and it's a good bounce again that gets on Nick Richie's stick, and Swayman can't get there on time because it bounces across the crease right to him, and he has an open net. Here's the thing, though. This ain't a lucky bounce, Brick. I'm ragging on Brick again because he said it. They just get a good bounce. They do get a good bounce. You know what could have prevented this? If McAvoy wasn't puck watching. He was in a battle with Richie and let Nick Richie get away from him. You let Nick, the Muppet, the boneless wonder Richie, get away from you. There's no excuses for that. You are a $9 million defender. A contract I think is super worth it. I love McAvoy. He is the stallion. He is a huge part of this team. But you cannot allow something that dumb. Just completely allows Nick Richie to get away from him. He has a wide open net. Somehow he doesn't miss because, it's Nick Richie. And he's pumped. Good for you, Nick Richie. Good for you. Go fuck yourself. Seriously. I can't believe I dislike you as much as I do right now. I really dislike seeing you on my team, and now seeing you on a different team and having the audacity, the gall to score on us? Fuck you. Muppet. It's a tie game, 2-2, against the red-hot Arizona Coyotes. They come back from a 2-0 deficit. 3:12 left, and we have to turn to our likely hero. The only man that we really thought could get the job done. It's going to be Trent Frederick. On the wall, battling two Coyotes for the puck in the neutral zone. He is able to win this battle, kick this puck out. Coyle with speed picks it up and flies into the zone. Gets away from the guys chasing who got tied up with Frederick. Smith is on his right. It's a 2-on-1. Just over 3 minutes left in the game. Everyone thinks pass because that's all Coyle has done for weeks is pass. Not only that, he has it on his backhand. The defense is doing a good enough job. Force it to his backhand, trust your goalie to make a backhand save, make sure there's no passing lane. This is well played by the Yotes as well as you can play a situation where you gave up a 2-on-1. Coyle says bet, backhand, and beats Vejmelka. Glove side, it's a reverse, right? He's a lefty. Glove side, short side, with the backhand shot from about 10 feet out. Oh, yeah. Charlie Coyle. The sequence line gets the game winner. In fact, technically, the sequence line had all of our goals. That is a 3-2 final. 55 seconds left of the game. We are going to have an empty net situation. We do not score on it. as usual. And now, officially, I have a little concern. Because they almost scored twice. And I said on the podcast, I said in previous videos, I'm not overly worried yet. Because 6-on-5 is something this coaching staff can figure out. There was a face-off, 40 seconds left in the game, where we sent out Patrice Bergeron to win the face-off. He didn't win it. Charlie Coyle in case Patrice Bergeron got kicked out. And then Tomas Nosek in case both of them got kicked out, I guess. Forbort and McAvoy. This team is scared of these situations. I don't mind changing the lines up and putting them out there like that. You have some very capable, defensive savvy centers. Like, you want to make sure that they're all covering somebody. You're not putting Pasta out in that situation right now. You're not putting Marshy out in that situation right now with the way he's playing. So it's not even about the line that went out. But it's about how fucking frantic this team looked in that situation as soon as they lost the draw. And how immensely confused and nervous they were when the time expired. And everyone was like, oh, thank God. And you're sitting there going, thank God? This needs to be business as usual, boys. This needs to be, yep, there we go. Finished it off. Not, oh, thank God. That demeanor, more than anything else, is what concerns me. Scary stuff. But a dub's a dub's a dub. And far be it from me to not be excited about a dub. Game notes. We talked about weird results in this time of year. Every time. The last 20% of the season, good teams play bad teams. One of them's playing for something, the other one's not. Is that tell the whole story? No. Do we have to be better against bottom feeders? Sure, whatever. I honestly am more concerned about how we're getting ourselves up for games like Minnesota on Wednesday. I'm not concerned about the overall play against a bad team, I guess. I am concerned about not being able to hold a 2-goal lead. I am concerned about our demeanor later in games with any sort of lead. There are little red flags, but it also means that a lot of times you worry about teams peaking too early. I don't think this team peaked yet. I think we had a nice little run there, but there's still very much stuff that we need to work out. That might be a silver lining here. I need to stop forgiving the blown leads, though, against bottom-feeding teams. Which is weird, because a month ago I was screaming about it, and then there's a weird kind of gap of me going, you know what, not that big of a deal. I'm super back on the, hey, hold a lead, assholes, please. Like, you're taking years off of all our lives. I hope they know this. They're taking years off our lives. Are you okay with that, Boston Bruins? Are you okay with that? Probably. You're probably okay with that. Not a good game for anyone on defense not named Grizzlick, honestly. Not to pick on them, but very loosey-goosey. I think Grizz got back in the lineup and was ready to go and wanted to make a difference, and I think he did. I really liked his game. Carlo had a couple blips. Carlo was actually somewhat improved as opposed to... He had this really nice stretch, then he dipped, and he's coming back up, but still not a great game from him. McAvoy, very subpar. And a lot of these judgments are based off of expectations of each individual player. I'm not saying that McAvoy played a Forbort level game. I'm saying McAvoy was nowhere near what a McAvoy game should look like. So not a great game for us defensively. Lastly, Chychrun not returning, again, changes the whole landscape. That's something that we're going to talk about a little bit tomorrow. That scares me. Because again, I wasn't concerned about getting Chychrun. But it raises the price of every other defenseman behind him. It does. It absolutely does. Anyway, guys, it does it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. Trade deadline. Get your questions in. I'm going to split it up into 3 parts. Good. Great. 9-1-1 in our last 11. Go Bees!